Now, it seems like reports have been coming out a lot lately about the Clippers and the Timberwolves. In regards to that, I'm speaking on Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns was linked to the Clippers about a year ago or so in the offseason. And, his name is just resurfaced. And it's also resurfaced, this offseason as well. But now there is talks, possibly for, acquiring Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, of course, acquiring somebody like him, they'd have to give up, maybe a decent amount of their bench or all their future picks. And not to me, if you ask me, I like Karl-Anthony Towns. I just don't know if he's really worth that. Now, I've looked on a few sites, NBA Analysis, .net, a few other places, Clutch Point, so you can actually check it out yourself online. But I just don't really know. I believe Karl-Anthony Towns would fit with the Clippers in regards to what he can bring to them, because he's a way better version of what Zubac probably ever will be. And, of course, he's better than Mason Plumlee. But even though Mason Plumlee is just there to be a good backup, which I think he is a superb backup, for the Clippers. I really do. I like the way, he can handle the ball a little bit. I like the way he gets offensive rebounds, give the Clippers extra second chances to score when they possibly, may have missed a couple shots. He can definitely get you some extra possessions. And like I said, he can shoot free throws pretty decently. So I love him as a backup. So if they hypothetically did get Karl-Anthony Towns, it'd probably be a situation where they would send Zubac, maybe Marcus Morris, and a future pick for Karl-Anthony Towns. And I personally think that the Timberwolves will go for that. So, I'm saying this now. Don't be surprised if a Karl-Anthony Towns acquiring happens with the Clippers, because if it does, then that really is going to, shake things up in the West, because Karl-Anthony Towns is not a superstar, but he has superstar potential in his game and the way he plays. He just needs to be seasoned. And I'm not going to say seasoned. He just needs to play around better competition, because Anthony Edwards is good. He's good, but they're both young players, and they're both trying to really establish themselves as, premier players in the league. And when you're trying to establish yourself like that, you have to, up your game to another level. And sometimes it only happens when you play around better competition. Rudy Gobert and other players that's been on the Timberwolves the last several years, they're good players, but the Timberwolves overall as a team has never been one of those premier teams, or a team that other teams look at as a threat. You see what I'm saying? So now him and Anthony Edwards, of course, if they stay together, they could turn into something huge. But of course, that's potential. That's futuristic. That's not now. And see, that right there makes all the world difference. So to me, if you paired him with a Kawhi and a PG, I think he would flourish very well. Matter of fact, I think he would flourish at the top of his game, because he's playing with top level competition and guys who are top 5, top 10 players in this league still currently today, if you ask me. So, in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So, you're playing with top level guys. You're playing with one guy and Kawhi Leonard who's won multiple championships. So him telling Karl-Anthony Towns the right things would definitely mold and bode very well for Karl-Anthony Towns' overall career, even outside of the Clippers, hypothetically, even after, if he joined the Clippers or not. But it would just help Karl-Anthony Towns overall, because I think his skill set, Karl-Anthony Towns should be a little bit further than what he is in his career by now, to me, because his skill set says superstar written all over it. He has a skill set close to an Anthony Davis or somebody of that nature. It just doesn't look like it because he plays with the Timberwolves. So I personally think, if the Clippers don't have to give up too much to get him, like if they actually did Zubac and Marcus Morris and maybe one future pick for Karl-Anthony Towns, I would go for that. I really would. I believe Karl-Anthony Towns could fit real good with the Clippers if he's willing to accept the role that they have for him, or that they would have for him, because like I said, he would just be a big man. They'd be able to throw the ball down to the paint, and he'd be able to score on his own. It would take a lot of pressure off Kawhi and PG from scoring. They could take off nights scoring wise and rest their knees and their back and their ankles. And, it would just be a good situation, I think, especially if Karl-Anthony Towns stayed healthy. Now, I will say this. That's another problem with Karl-Anthony Towns that would bother me by giving up too much if the Clippers decide to go after this. Karl-Anthony Towns is kind of injury prone. So it's like, of course, we could say that about a lot of players in the league about being injury prone. But to me, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's had a share of injury, but, he stayed healthy at least enough, I would say, in his short amount of career to be, known, to be well known throughout the NBA as a name in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So if he can just turn up a notch and take another level, I think he would, take his game to another level and be closer to that superstar status. And I think on the Clippers, he'd be able to do that. I don't know if he would bring them all the championship DNA in the world, but he would bring them size and the paint that they really don't have. And I can tell you this much: the Clippers, between the point guard position, like I said, they got Terrence Mann. They got guys who can at least be adequate in the point guard position. So that's good enough for them. If they can go out and get somebody better, of course, definitely do that. But I think that they're pretty much, in their mind, in the Clippers organization mind, they think they're secure where they are with Russell Westbrook and, the pieces that they have. But I tell you what, if the Clippers did have a big man like a Karl-Anthony Towns, it definitely would make their life a little bit different and a lot more easier, because it's like I said, it takes more pressure off of Kawhi and PG to score. And on top of that, it would take a lot of pressure off Karl-Anthony Towns to score, because he has those two on the floor. It would give him a lot of basically one-on-one coverage, where it won't be no double teams, and he won't see a lot of traps with those two players on the floor, because it would open up more opportunities for him to score and for him to be dominant. And that's exactly what Karl-Anthony Towns needs to be. He needs to learn to be dominant. And I think he would figure that out with a coach like Ty Lue and that team. So I definitely wouldn't mind the trade. I would like to see him get off the Timberwolves and get an opportunity to win a championship too. So I definitely wouldn't mind the trade. We just have to see if it actually come to fruition or not. But based upon the reports and everything, it might actually work out. So, but hey, like I said, leave any comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and we'll go from there.